How's it going, YouTube? You got Pat Mack here, coach of the Sacramento Sand Slash, bringing you the draft analysis of the YouTube Challenger League. Before I even start talking about our team, what we picked, why we picked them, all that good stuff, let me first talk about the YouTube Challenger League. This is a singles league played on Wi-Fi. There are 20 coaches, and it is an upload required league. Part of that is that we're going to have an upload schedule for our league. So when you see our videos uploaded, that means that all other 20 coaches in the league are also uploading their videos on that same day, which is Saturdays. Love to see it. So when you see our videos come out, also know that the other videos for other coaches are coming out at that same time, which, if you're interested in checking out some more draft content for coaches for the YCL, you can check out our description. We'll have a link to all 20 coaches as well. Also, there is a power rankings video put out by Makeda. Definitely go check that out. I'll have that linked in the description. And there is a, I don't think it was necessarily a power rankings, but kind of just like a general talk about all 20 teams made by Arts and Sally Mumble on Sally Mumble's channel. I will put that link in the description as well for you to check out. And, last bit of information I want to give out or shout out before we start talking about the team. Big shout out to Brave VGC. Their link is also in the description. They helped me out with putting the team together. Mostly a VGC player, but they've done some singles content too, and so they gave me some ideas for how to put together the team, bounce ideas off of them to put together something that really works and comes together, I think, in a pretty nice way, which we'll see right now. So you can see the team on the screen there. All 11 Pokemon that we picked. I believe we had a total of 760 points spread out to be able to use and draft whatever tiers of Pokemon that we wanted. 140 was the highest, 20 was the lowest, all the stuff in the middle going by 20-point increments. Anyway, so let's talk about the team. First pick that we went for was Zygarde. And my draft strategy, just in a general sense for basically every league I ever play in, is once it gets to my pick, take what I think is one of the strongest or most interesting or whatever Pokemon that I want to use. And there was actually a lot of really cool options there once it got to us. We were like 7 or 8 or something like that. Anyway, so Zygarde was what I wanted to go for. Obviously, super powerful mon, a lot of setup options, a lot of power, blah blah blah. I don't think I need to tell you all how amazing Zygarde is. What I really want to talk about is the next 2 picks that we went for with the Nihilego and the Bronzong. Those 3 Pokemon together create a very powerful core, in my opinion. So why is that the case? Zygarde, very powerful physical attacker, doesn't want to deal with fairies, doesn't want to deal with ice types, doesn't want to deal with grass types. So bring in Nihilego. What hits ice types? Rock coverage. What hits grass and fairy types? Poison coverage. And what's super nice about these 2 Pokemon together is that Zygarde hits on the physical side and Nihilego hits on the special side. So if someone decides that they want to have a very physically defensive grass type to try to deal with Zygarde, we switch in Nihilego and then we start hitting them on the special defense side. And then kind of vice versa, right? If a Pokemon decides that they want to be like a very specially defensive Pokemon, then now Zygarde hits them. So having that mixture of like physical power and special power allows those 2 Pokemon to just complement each other. And then you bring in Bronzong, which is just this super freaking bulky Pokemon. Really good defense stats, and really, really amazing typing with 2 fantastic abilities. So then when you look at what are the things that like Zygarde and Nihilego don't want to deal with? Well, let me just list the weaknesses of both these Pokemon. Water for Nihilego. Ice for Zygarde. Ground types, poison type, not poison types. Ground types and psychic types for Nihilego. Steel types for Nihilego. Dragon and Fairy for Zygarde. Out of all of those weaknesses, the only thing that Bronzong does not resist is water types. That's it. It resists every other type of coverage that hits those two Pokemon super effectively. So Bronzong becomes this really powerful switch in to be able to come in, set up rocks, maybe go screens, maybe throw out some statuses, maybe get a little bit of chip damage off. And then it allows us to bring in Zygarde and Nihilego to kind of finish off some of those Pokemon. So the trio of those Pokemon, I think, work really well together, and I was really excited to pick those up. Because after I drafted Zygarde, Nihilego and Bronzong were like the two Pokemon that I wanted next on my list to be able to complement Zygarde as that trio of really powerful Pokemon. So the rest of the draft honestly was based around like making sure I could fill out types for some flexibility, and then making sure that I could fill out some speed tiers. If you take a look at the speed tiers that we have here, we have a very good range from having a high point of Whimsicott at 116 and then having a low point of 29 for Hatterene. So just having that wide range of speeds gives us some flexibility in terms of speed control. Now, I also play VGC, so a lot of times when I think of speed control, and if anyone who is watching this is one of my VGC viewers, you'll think of speed control as like Tailwind. You go like, Whimsicott, that's amazing, right? You get priority Tailwind, so cool. And then you'll also look at like Bronzong and Hatterene and Porygon, and you'll go like, oh yeah, and you have like really good speed control with Trick Room. And both of those moves aren't that common in singles. The way that singles leagues tend to work in terms of speed control is mostly about tiering. And speed control tiers matter a little bit in VGC doubles, but it matters, I think, even more for singles. Whenever we're thinking about speed tiers, we want to make sure that we have a good range of speed tiers, and we want the gaps between our speeds to be very small. So our largest gap is 20, for example, and that might be like a little bit too much. Ideally, I think you want to go for a little bit less than that. I think of like 15 is probably like an ideal difference between speeds from being like a high point. However, 20 is totally fine, totally something that we can work with. Now, the reason for having a mixture of speed tiers like we have here is that when we're EVing our Pokemon, by having a small gap, speed creeping becomes more difficult for my opponents to deal with. Say, for example, they want to speed creep. If they want to speed creep one of our Pokemon, essentially the idea is that they may have to use, my opponents might have to use a speed boosting nature instead of like a damage boosting or defense boosting nature. So small speed gaps in our speed tiers really help with that, to be able to give us a lot more ability to kind of mitigate the prep on my opponent's side, so that they have to consider more speed boosting natures. So that's kind of like one of the things that I think is really nice about our team. We cover a bunch of weaknesses and whatnot. We have all the types, and like that part's good. And I think that speed tiers are probably more important than making sure that you cover all the types. Okay, so I talked a little bit about like speed tiers and how we have like a really wide range between a high point of Whimsicott and a low point of Hatterene. And we talked about the trio of like Zygarde, Nihilego, and Bronzong. Well, we also have another trio on this team that is probably a little bit overlooked, actually. Bronzong, Pangoro, and Hatterene. The three of those Pokemon also work really well together in a similar way that Zygarde, Nihilego, and Bronzong did. So Bronzong gets to fit into kind of these two trio of Pokemon. Now, the second trio, the Hatterene, Pangoro, and Bronzong, really work really well together in kind of like a Trick Room core. So we can flex a Trick Room team if it looks like my opponent's team is going to be faster than mine. And I think that was like such a cool option for this team to use, and forces a lot of different prep out of my opponent's team that I think is going to be so fantastic. And they also cover each other's weaknesses and hit the things that the other Pokemon don't want to deal with. So like Hatterene, very high special attack, doesn't really want to deal with ghosts or steel types. Well, Pangoro comes in and hits those steel types and those ghost types for super effective damage. Well, and then you look at the other side where Pangoro really doesn't want to deal with fighting types, and it really doesn't want to deal with fairy types. Well, the fighting types get dealt with by psychic coverage from Bronzong or the psychic fairy stab from Hatterene. And then the fairy types get hit by the steel coverage from Bronzong. So like the trio of those Pokemon, I think work really well together. And I think that that's kind of another good trio for us, as well as like what we talked about earlier, right? Hatterene, special attacker. Pangoro, really hard physical attacker, similar to like how Zygarde was physical and Nihilego was special. So I think that like this trio, these 5 Pokemon, I think kind of work really well together, from being like a faster breaking core and a slower breaking core. So I think that like just gives us a whole lot of options there. And then I think another part that I really like about this team is just the amount of physical breakers between Zygarde, Pangoro, and Sneasel. And then adding on to that the special breakers with Nihilego, Magmortar, Hatterene. So we have like a very nice mix of like special coverage and physical coverage. So it makes it just more difficult for opponents to EV their Pokemon so that they can kind of deal with a lot of our threats. So I can imagine a lot of teams are going to end up with like mixed defense Pokemon, which means that they just can't max out on something, and we can take advantage of that in some way. Then we also have just like some amazing setup threats, like Zygarde, amazing setup threat with Coil, Dragon Dance, and like Sub even. Then we have like Nihilego, which like I don't think it has a status boosting or like a nasty plot or anything like that, but it does have Beast Boost, right? Which is also freaking amazing. Then we get into Blastoise that has like Shell Smash, Pangoro with Sword Stance, Hatterene with like Calm Mind, and I think Sneasel has Sword Stance as well. So like we have a wide variety of Pokemon that can set up and try to take advantage of some of our opponent's walls if they try to sit in front of us. So overall, really excited about this team. I think it gives us a wide variety of options, and if you've watched any of our content in the past, any other draft analysis that I've done, or even just me talking about my games in general, I absolutely love flexibility, and I think that this team really complements that love of mine in order to play through matches. So let's go and take a look at the team here at the very end. All the Pokemon here. I'm so excited to use this team of 11 throughout our season. Make sure you stick around, like, subscribe, check out the description for other coaches' draft analysis videos. There's links to all of their channels. They should be getting posted around the same time that this gets posted as well, whether it's morning or day, whatever. And if you're interested in seeing some more of our content, like, subscribe, and check out our video that'll be coming out in 1 week from today. Again, upload schedules on Saturdays for week 1. I'll see you then.